Hey, what's up, guys? Streamer Swinger here, and today we're here to celebrate 100 subscribers. Woo! Yeah, I know, I'm super excited. It doesn't seem like a big milestone, but to me, I've put a pretty decent amount of work into this channel, so I'm glad that people have received and decided to subscribe to my channel. Before we continue with the Q&A I promised you guys, first, let's start out by doing some shout-outs to some people who have helped me along the way. I'd like to thank everybody in the fishing YouTubers Instagram group chat. You guys know who you are. This includes Supreme Fishing, DJ Skylon, all those people. I'll put in annotations to their channel links. And also Fly Fishing Ninja, who does these great live streams almost every Wednesday where he, just invites people just to kind of talk and subscribe to each other. This has helped me gain a lot of subscribers and a lot of new fans. My videos do really well the day after everyone is subscribers, so definitely go check him out. There's also Costin Sutton and a few other people, Humphrey and all those type of people who've just helped me along the way with this YouTube journey, who I really want to thank. I can't express how happy I am. I really think we could keep growing. It's not even the time of year where I get to fish every weekend and may make a video every week, and it's like every 2 weeks, but you guys are still staying here and watching my videos, so that really means a lot. So now let's go on to the Q&A. So my first question is from Cedric Rulian, and it is, have you been to Utah? No, Cedric, I've never been to Utah. I'd really like to go there. It seems like a really beautiful place, got some great fly fishing, but I never have been there. I haven't really spent a lot of time in that part of the country, hopefully to go there, like Colorado and stuff like that. I live in the Northeast. I live in New York, so I've spent a lot of time there. So all that kind of stuff has been outside of my range. Lucian Flanagan Burt asks, do you tie your own flies, and what's your favorite streamer pattern? So, Lucian, I do tie my own flies. I only tie a lot of Clouser minnows because I can tie as well, and B, I go through so many of those during the year. I'm trying to learn how to tie myself. Most of the other things are just buy, so I can actually get good quality flies that'll catch fish. I've tried tying up a few shrimp growers, but they really haven't come out the way I wanted them to. So I'm still, that's definitely a developing skill. A lot of people ask me to do fly tying tutorials, but I just don't feel like I'm qualified to do that. There's so many meta people, there's 2 through 9 flies. They're eye angler and stuff like that who are much more qualified, have been tying for years. I haven't been tying for that long, so I'd recommend you go check those guys out. And then for my favorite streamer pattern, I would probably say definitely Clouser minnow, definitely in the tropical saltwater like Florida, and you can't really go wrong with a black and purple EP minnow, whether it's for redfish or tarpon or snook or whatever. That's just such a money fly. From Humphrey Penny 4, and he asked, why do I fish? And I said, and honestly, that's a really good question, but it's also kind of a complicated one. We all fish for different reasons. I didn't grow up around a lot of people who fished. I went out one time with a friend and I kind of fell in love with it, and it's just been something that I've done. I fish for a lot of different reasons. I don't really care a lot about catching the biggest or the most fish. I'm a big fan of the way you catch the fish. What's the story behind it? What did you do? So if you have to go somewhere, travel far, and fish hard to catch something, even if it's not the most incredible fish, I'm still really into it. So I like that whole aspect of learning things and achieving and just getting better and better at a sport. That's the good thing about fly fishing is you can always become a better caster. You can always learn to time our patterns. There's so much stuff to learn. There's also one thing I really like about fishing is just how much mental energy you can put into it when you're not fishing. Because I spend the majority of my time when I'm not fishing, and that's doing stuff like tying. And one of the reasons why I really got into YouTube is because I love that aspect of, like, after a long day of fishing, just coming home, looking at my computer and seeing all this footage of me. It personally makes me really happy. So I fish for a lot of different reasons. But I also fish because I have friends who fish, and it's just a great thing to do. You can fill up an afternoon really easily. So there are a lot of reasons why I fish. V.A. Basson asks, most fond fishing memory. I'd have to say, this is way before I started recording, way before I started fly fishing. It was a year in Block Island, Rhode Island, which you don't know is a great place in Rhode Island to catch striped bass. There was tons of fog. You couldn't see like more than 10 feet. And there was a small craft advisory, but for some reason we still went out that day. I still, in retrospect, probably think that was a bad idea, but we went out anyways, and we were so close to the shore, but you couldn't even see it. And I was just ripping these big jerk baits for striped bass. And I remember I got my jerk bait absolutely smoked by a big 30-plus pound striped bass. And it's hard to catch a big 30-pound plus striped bass, especially on a jerk bait when you're not using like live eels and like that. And at this time I was probably like 10, so that fish like kicked my butt. But it was an awesome experience. The one that I'll absolutely never forget. My dad was with me, and we had to kind of fight it together. He had to help me pull it in and almost wrestle with the fish. It was insane. I'll probably throw a picture up right here of what the fish actually looked like. But it was an absolutely insane trip, and I'll never forget that moment. Humphrey24 asks, what's your go-to lure? I'm going to change this to what's my go-to fly because obviously I fly fish. I think definitely a black woolly bugger or a green woolly bugger can work in pretty much any scenario. I could fly anywhere in the world, start throwing that and catch fish. In terms of, more trout stuff, copperhead nymphs, nymphs aren't the most glorious way to fly fish, but they are effective. When I don't know what to throw, I will start nymphing and you can catch trout pretty much anywhere. Other than that, sometimes you'd be surprised throwing a popper would work. Sometimes just throw something really loud. And the mop fly, which, a lot of the mop fly and the San Juan worm. A lot of people don't like these flies because they're not like the most purest, but they can work really well. And when I don't know what to throw, a lot of times I'll tie one of those. I mean, the mop flies, I'll throw a picture of one. They look like little Cheetos, but they are really effective. And for some reason, trout, I don't love them. I don't even know why, but they do. Aaron's Fishing Show asks, biggest fish to catch / favorite fish to catch. So my biggest fish that I've ever caught is actually like a 200-pound nurse shark in the Florida Keys. This was on bait, but it was when I was really young, so it was a really cool experience. It wasn't as big as like, a tiger or a lemon. If I probably spent more time shark fishing instead of bone fishing, I could probably catch one of those pretty easily, but I haven't devoted a lot of time into that. And then my favorite fish to catch is definitely, actually that's tough. I think I'm going to say the striped bass because there's about 1 million different ways, even on fly rod you can catch striped bass. You can throw a teaser for them, get them up on the surface, then throw a fly to them. You can blind cast around rocks, you can cast on the surf. There's even places in Block Island and Martha's Vineyard where you can sight fish for striped bass. They're just so versatile. I also like how you can get them from shore. I like to call it a democratic fish because it doesn't really matter how much money you have. It matters how willing you are to wake up in the morning and how much in bad weather you're willing to fish. So I like how it's kind of more democratic. And other fish I really enjoy catching is obviously, rainbow trout, fly fishing, bread and butter. Another fish I love to catch is bonefish, as you're going to see in an upcoming episode. They're just so spooky, which makes catching them so rewarding. They're almost annoyingly spooky, and they can be really frustrating. And they take drag for a little fish like crazy, and they are just awesome. Especially you see one of them flying down the flats and you got to make a cast to it. Like my heart, I miss a lot of shots just because I get so excited. Like my heart starts pumping, like you start violently casting. There's no better feeling in the world. I mean, I feel like a permit bearing down at you would be a better feeling, but I don't fish for permit because I'm not experienced enough at this point. I do have permit flies, but I don't target them because the rate of rejection with those fish is just kind of crazy. And I don't think my casting or anything is up to scruff. So yeah, that's the 100 subscriber special. Thank you guys so much. We got a lot of great videos coming up. We got 2 more videos from my Florida trip. Another one back in Miami. I know that video got a lot of views and people seem to really like that. Me fish for some peacock bass. That video is kind of weird in a way. I go kind of wading into this little swamp area, so that should be interesting. And like I said, I've got a bonefish video. And then in March, I'm actually going to Cabo San Lucas, and even though it's not thought of as a fly fishing destination, it's actually great fly fishing there for stuff like rooster fish, and maybe, no guarantee, some marlin on fly. If I could do that, that'd be really cool. But yeah, thank you guys for watching so much. I can't believe I'm at this point. I pretty much predicted that I'd quit YouTube before now, but no, we're still going strong, and on to 200, then 300, then 500, then 1,000, then 10,000, then, the sky's the limit, because there's not as many fly fishermen as there are the bait fishing, but they love to watch fly fishing. You can see that from the success of the Fly Fishing Film Fest. So yeah, the sky's the limit, guys. All right, I will see you guys next time. Streamer Swinger out.